Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to control. Let's continue. So we're still looking for Darlings, the scientist guy. It's been, frankly, about 3 hours, so I'm hoping that we'll finish that pretty quickly. Alright, so we now, I guess, know what the code is, and it's different from what I did before. Alright. Let's see. I swear the D-pad is not doing anything. It really isn't. It's just going in circles. Well, it's doing something, I guess, but not what I'd want. So the square in the middle seems to be going in circles. But you have to kind of cycle through it, I guess, to open the rest of the edges. So you're only interested in the edges. So we're in the HRA lab.
Any idea how to make it work?
So our mystical creature machine wants us to turn on a mystical creature companion wants us to turn on this what looks like a giant HRA, which seems to be somewhat based off some kind of rock. Too powerful for us for our use. Feedback loop. So it feels like there's going to be a puzzle that we'll have to do. It's black rock prisms. You know what? As a huge fan of the game Myst in that series, Control could have been a great game around that concept.
Hello again, Director. It appears we have a new problem. We need to get the HRA machine working.
I've replaced a couple of spark plugs, but this looks a bit more complicated.
Darling must have had a system. Randomness isn't in his nature. The punch cards, the symbols, the terminals. How do they connect?
I'll see what I can do.
So, can I talk to her? No. What kind of gun? That's a weird looking gun. So I see a 2. I see a 1, so let's start that. So we need a punch cards first. Alright. So let's just get all the punch cards to start with. We should have, I think, more than just
So, we need to find all
3.
the punch cards.
We should have like 5. So let's go over here and see what else we have. Configurations. Can we affect this? It's all the same puzzles over and over again. 4. Right. So we have 5. We'll see if that's right, but I'm not sure. Not 100% sold on this. Swap those 2 around.
Each punch card should correspond to a terminal.
Okay, this one I guess is 5. So let's go to 5 and try that. Next, this should be 2, and the one on the right should be 2, and the one on the left should be 3, I guess. So, try that.
These whiteboard drawings may be important.
2. That was green. Was this green? Not sure the other one was green. That's green. So let's run back up here and see if this is green. Seems green. So either I've got this right or it's always green. So yeah, that seems like that worked. There's nothing up there. Excuse me. Another bit of a lockup there. In all fairness, it might be a little silly to stream and record having a second monitor enabled
Prism
on
shattered.
top of the line
Darling's
game.
prototypes have a lot of issues. We need a new plan.
I'd like to open that door. All the interactable things just disappeared. So talk to me.
We need more black rock prisms to make this machine work. Darling has another lab down in the black rock processing site and maintenance. That must be where he keeps the prisms.
I've been to maintenance already. I can find my way.
But how long will that take? Nothing here is simple. I need to ask her now, before I go.
I need something from you first. What do you know about Dylan Faden?
I knew this was coming. Lives are at stake here, and we need this machine working to save those lives. Once that is done, Director Faden, then we can talk.
She's right. As much as I don't want to admit it. I'm the only one who can help.
Fine. I'll get the prisms first.
Dylan will have to wait just a little longer.
But don't call me Director. Jesse
No.
is fine.
Dragging out
I'll
the
call
story.
you Faden. Here, you'll need this keycard.
Thanks. Emily Pope has set up a base in Executive. Once I have the prism, I'll meet you there.
Right. I'll move out immediately. And keep an eye out for Darling. Finding him might be the key to stopping the hiss.
Do we really need a cutscene like this?
It's just one large-scale HRA. It's there now. We are about to be exposed to a different kind of resonance. Hostile, viral.
This looks like it's zoomed
invasive
in
resonance.
almost like a glitch, but it isn't.
That's what the Hedron resonance amplifiers are for.
Yeah, live
Taking the
action
protection Hedron can
person
provide us
watching a live action projection.
and keeping us from being wiped out.
Honestly, it feels like Remedy Software bought a TV production company and now has to justify that purchase somehow for all that live action.
Here, this will lead back to Central Research.
Oh, I thought that wall would just open up. So there's clearly elements on every floor that we've missed, and in the top left of this floor in particular we missed something, but the story wants us to go this way, and I think that's pretty much all we can do. It's weird that this antenna is up on this radio just because that's a long texture that doesn't really need to exist. So, is this a shelter? No, it was just a door. Just a secret panel. And we're now... We didn't get into ritual division ever. We never really did anything with the pit, which I guess we're gonna come back and deal with that later, too. So, I think we're going to maintenance. Hide some load. Access corridor or maintenance sector in general? That's a good question. Definitely the right question to be asking. So I might be in the wrong place and I might just decide to leave and take the elevator. Although
Marshall knows something about Dylan. Is he here? Is he alright? HRAs first. They'll help save everyone, including Dylan, once I find him. Can you keep him safe? Like you do with me?
So we are going to central maintenance, so we are in the right place. Whereas I guess had we gone the other way, it would have been a little bit longer of a walk. Unless the game just sneakily moved us around and we came out at a different place than where we said we wanted to go. The idea of the different clearances only makes sense in a video game because if you had just run into somebody with a security clearance card 5 to start with, you'd be able to open everything and then the game would be super easy. I guess you could have had more sci-fi elements to explain that away. That's a level 5. We can't get up there. If you were given a security card when you got your service revolver, and then the security card just magically improves itself, if it just started like shocking you or buzzing in your pocket and then transferred and upgraded, that would explain the way it always goes up one level. Or you could have gone a slightly more annoying route, but it would be more realistic. You could have had it where there's Sector A clearance, Sector B clearance, Sector C clearance, and even if you had a security card for Sector C, you don't immediately then get clearance for Sector A. So do I want more health over everything else? I think the answer to that is yes. Like, now it's just a matter of, I guess, launching. And these countermeasures, we probably should abandon that one, but there's not really much else to deal with. Let's see. How did I end up in the wrong place? I guess I did end up start in the wrong location. going the right way, or am I going to the janitor's office? Here we go.
Respect his elders.
Look at this glitching out here. Is that supposed to be glitching out, or is that just the engine screwing up? Clear the clog.
Pack. What killa päätti? Paska mikä paska. The bureau is
So-
trying to dig a hole in their own cellar.
Interesting that we would have to go clear the clog again. We already did that. Yeah, I really don't have a desire to go and do it again. And let's see. There is kind of a section over maybe this way that we could access now. This was a object of power we got. Or is it this direction? It's kind of this direction, but it's higher up, I think.
Did I leave my mop again?
Where am I trying to go? Central maintenance. I think this leads to central maintenance this way. Ventilation, power plant. Power plant. I guess power plant is where we're going. This is getting complicated, to say the least. The layout of the maintenance section. There you go, let's jump on there. Go back down. And where are we headed now? If I sent this up and then jumped off of it, is there anything under here? No. I am struggling, definitely. Struggling to find where is the right way to go. So yeah, there was a guy over here that we could talk to. That we forgot about. So if I can clear out this area. be able to deal with that. This might be one of those challenges that pops up. So we might get a reward for taking out these guys. Do we have any more health we can grab? Yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot of health. So are we good now? Alright. So this guy, there was a guy in here that would talk to us. Is he still here or did he move? Looks like he moved. Yeah, nothing under there. So, yeah, I don't know where that guy went, but he's not here. Trying to go to central maintenance, which is this direction, and probably we'll have to fight some more people. Let's see. What does that say? Central maintenance. May not have been in this area before. That's a possibility. Let's see. So a lot of emergency first aid cabinets and boxes, I guess, of handkerchiefs, of Kleenex. You see occasional toilet paper. But what you don't see is any soap. So these are boxes of paper towels that I assume go in here. But when you look at the sink, there's no dispenser for any soap. There's no soap dispensers anywhere. So apparently they don't use soap in the Federal Bureau of Control. Alright. We are here. This is the sector elevator here. Last time we did field training, that was fine. And then we couldn't get anywhere with the brick rock processing, but clearly that's where we're supposed to go. This would have been so much easier to just walk out in this section. I want to look at our missions. Apparently, we may have gotten some new item. See, I don't know if we got a separate mission done or not. Or maybe it just popped up a separate mission. I'm not sure I'm really hitting that ball. We might be in a kind of good position because if we stay over here, is this guy gonna really die? Is he dead or? Yeah, I don't think the ball can move too much. I think it's stuck inside the glass. So this is an awkwardly designed room for the amount of enemies that they wanted. The big energy ball in particular, that I felt like that was an experiment that went poorly. Perhaps they don't program where the energy ball will spawn. I think that'd be really weird, but it's possible that's the case. We do have level 4 security now, so or we could go down to the Atlas chamber, which I'm assuming the Atlas chamber still does not open up all the way for me. Yeah. Like, very possibly that's going to be the final boss fight. Or we're going to get a giant HRA and go in the Atlas chamber and put the HRA on some kind of object of power. But right now we're just going to the turbine room, which I think is the right direction. Yeah, unless I can freeze time, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I can do that. That'll allow me to transfer and keep moving. This area hides one secret and is mostly just in case I fall off. Now the danger here, and we've run into this problem several times, is I jump on this, does it somehow accidentally kill me anyways, and then my challenge is my challenge to kill 50 enemies without dying screws up. I have no idea what that just powered. It didn't power the spinning, anything like that. There's no jumping up to get higher. Hoping that I'm in the right place. I'm not 100% certain about this. It's questionable whether there was anything more that could have been done with these power cube puzzles. Like, much like in Dead Space 1, that they're really a one-note trick, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had tried to use them more often, it would have turned out to be pretty boring. I've played some, well, what was the game I played most recently? Cube. No, I don't think it was called Cube. Magnetic Case Closed, I believe was the name of the game, where you had these magnetic cubes that you were dealing with a lot, and it was pretty annoying. What is this? The law of three applies. Catalyst light switch. So these light switches seem to always take you to the motel. It's been a long time since we've been to the motel. Let's see. And that seems like that would just put us back down in an area we've already been. Yeah, once we get the ability, which I assume we're going to get, to fly, there will definitely be some areas that that change, are going to become very easy to traverse. Wow, do I have to 1, 2, 3. I'm holding down X, you can't hit X again. One, 2, 3. It just doesn't work. It just does not work. So since the last time we've been here, there's a theory that each of these doors are portals to different dimensions, which would mean that potentially, while somebody's in here, each of these could be portals to different universes that would all connect. I don't know how having a different universe would really change much. And you can see there's like construction out there. So that may have been Alan Wake. It might have just been a reference to Alan Wake, right? Yeah. In totality. Or it could be an idea that this hotel does exist in some reality. So last time we rang the bell and it opened 3 doors and then allowed us back through the black door. So one would ask, is this door even locked? Yes. It's going to be kind of boring and repetitive if this is just the same thing over and over again. We're going to ring a doorbell. Almost certainly you would not have... Can you sit down? Interesting. And you can look at the pictures. And you can move things. Interesting. Oh, I bet this is... You have to get all 3 of the rooms to look exactly the same. So we may have to go through this a couple times. The chair is out over here. The picture is right, and the plant is on the left. The chair is out now. Picture's right, plant is on the left. So then apparently we're gonna have to try again. So we won't get to the third room until it matches? Maybe? Was the radio the thing that was different? Apparently, because that opened this third room. And we've got a key. Let's look at the clock and see if it's the same for each room. It's 3:45. This is only slightly interesting. Like, barely interesting, because it's this tiny little room that could have been a demo section of the game that you would show the people so that they don't really know what the game is about. It's so small, so infrequent, and so generic, for lack of a better term, that it might as well not exist. This might as well just be there might as well have just been a switch that would have switched the bridge open. There you can see a picture of me. Like, the picture is one, two. Yeah, in a nutshell, Control is really proving to be a lot of fluff. Just a ton of hype that they gave themselves because of their E3 trailers. And that certainly got people hyped. I thought this game looked interesting. I was thinking it might be closer to a Resident Evil game where you would find more keys, fight more zombies, maybe go with more of a survival element. There's no health items that you can hold on to in this game, which is weird. Yeah, if this was more like a Resident Evil's Evil Within game, it would probably be a lot better. But
Okay, we need to find a way to Blackrock processing. That's where Marshall said we'd find a prism.
we're getting more walk and talk. We're talking to ourselves. But yeah, I think this is a game that is a great example of its suffering from its own hype before it came out, and then now that it is out, and particularly since it's an Epic Games exclusive for a limited time exclusive, that by the time people can purchase this on a preferred platform like Steam for PC, or frankly they're also being hurt by the fact that it doesn't run well on the PS4 without the Pro version. Yeah, there's a high chance here that a lot of people will have moved on to the next big thing. Control being the first big AAA game out for the 2019 season, which is about how I describe it, needed to come out of the gate running and gain as much success and as much of a good word of mouth as possible, and I don't think it did that. It's certainly not coming from me finding all these little nagging problems with the game, and they're not even big issues. It's just a lack of balance on the difficulty, a lack of difficulty settings, a lack of mixing the story with the actual gameplay. The gameplay is generic. The story is interesting at times, but not as good as it probably should be. And frankly, the story if you were just going to make Friday the 13th the TV series, which has nothing to do with Freddy Krueger, by the way. Friday the 13th the TV series was a sci-fi TV series from many decades ago, where every episode you were finding a cursed object and controlling it, containing it. So it's very much the same story. So yeah, if you were going to do this only works with Pierce. Darn it, I need to craft Pierce. Yeah. If you were going to make a TV series like that, that would work. If you were going to bring this game to be more of a Telltale episodic experience, I could see some benefits to that, too. But trying to make this a AAA experience, wow, that is super bright in that room. And then it becomes super dark as soon as you're outside of the light. There's central maintenance and there's some shooting. So that door is now unlocked. Shortcut. Blackrock processing is over here. Now, if I start really only having to fight in groups like this, there's some benefit to that, I suppose. Like, I could definitely say, alright, that makes research major targets, 20 minutes to kill that. We're not going to do that mission. Like, the fact that it gives me that mission while I'm in the middle of fighting another fight shows that that they didn't even bother to program the test. These guys are tough. Too tough. But they also weren't giving me as much trouble as I thought they would. There's a elevated hiss. I don't see too many of those. Is there an orb somewhere? Getting the X prompt is nice. It does bring about an interesting question about whether you could turn off some of these prompts and play without so many UI elements. Let's see, let's actually look at that. Options, interface, ammo bar, low ammo warning, mission overlay, loot drop icons. I guess you could turn those off. Item pickup notifications, health and energy bars. Yeah, enemy health bars. You can turn off everything. Nice. That's what you'd like to see in any game like that. This is just glowing with the hiss.
Hey, Faden, up here!
Where? It'd be helpful if you would tell me a better idea than just up here. Right. So now that we've crafted all the guns, we can potentially see, we're still working on all these countermeasures. Now we can upgrade our regular guns. Yeah, it feels like you might have a decent New Game Plus experience that being said, I don't know if I want to have a new game experience with this. This doesn't feel like a Resident Evil 4 where I'd want to do it over and over again. Which, now that I have a new video card, there's really no excuse to not play Resident Evil 4 unless it's somehow a 2080 RTX can't run Resident Evil 4 at the consistent frame pacing. Or some other issue comes about. Got another one of these.
During an AWE investigation, our agents discovered a light switch cord in a Butte bungalow closet. They pulled the cord and were instantly transported to the Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream like haze. Inside, they found a door marked with an inverted black pyramid. And just like that, it led back to the oldest house, some 2,000 miles from Montana. Now we're finding the cord in increasing numbers throughout the Bureau. Somehow the two places, they became in tune to each other. The actual physical location of the Ocean View is a mystery.
You can't even
Stepping
zoom
beyond
in
its
without
walls
pointing a
has
gun
so
at
far
it.
proven impossible. A place of power, like the oldest house.
For a name like the oldest house, this needs to have some more backstory to it. Like, we really need a Portal 2-esque Cave Johnson type breakdown of storylines where we see that this thing has been going on for thousands of years. That the oldest house has existed for thousands of years and the Bureau has been working out of it. But with the brutalist architecture, it's kind of hard to believe that that's actually true. What this feels like, this is a house that was built in the early days of Manhattan.
So hot. You're fine. We'll push through this. The hiss are the ones doing the pushing, Doc.
Like, so
Ranger Squad Charlie 7
why not
returned from an expedition
instead
to the quarry threshold just
say
after
that they
05
moved the house, or
Missouri?
the house magically
Can you please
moved
state your names and describe
from
the purpose
like
of your expedition?
Atlantis or
Kevin Horowitz,
ancient Rome,
Our mission was to
Mesopotamia,
map point
someplace like
coordinates
that.
G29. Secondary objective, as always, was to find a route from the threshold entrance and maintenance to the formation.
We need to get them to a surgical station
Secondary objective
ASAP.
was
They
I don't
won't
think they're
even
stable
stay
enough to
quiet for you to listen
And
to
did you
the
encounter any
dialogue.
previously unrecorded event or entity while inside the threshold?
No, nothing. Do you think we should tell him about the mermaid?
Excuse me?
Yeah, the mermaid. Horowitz here found this mermaid in the quarry, just sitting on some black rock. She was singing this beautiful song, and he was overcome with desire. Oh, she was so alluring.
Hey, remember the deal.
I'd say she
Feel
was
a hiss,
more
I buy a
enchanting than alluring.
Shelf only.
Fine, enchanting.
Did you tell your
Still have
people
these
about this?
weird games.
Because it didn't happen. Nothing happened. As usual, the quarry is full of rocks. That's it. Can we go now?
Fuck you guys. Get out of here.
So I don't see the point of having these extra people around when they don't play any role. Alright, this was the guy we were going to talk to in Central Maintenance. He moved.
Hey, thanks for bringing down that... whatever the fuck that was.
Man, his head
But
scan
we are
is
barely
just
holding on
way
here,
too big.
boss. How's the situation outside maintenance?
What do I tell him?
It just does not
The
look
truth
great.
is harsh, but these people seem familiar with death.
The hiss are everywhere. Most of the Bureau is lost. We need Blackrock Prism to make more HRAs for any survivors in the safe rooms. I'm here to check Darling's Blackrock lab.
So to recap, death, disaster, and imminent destruction. Another day at the FBC. But Darling's lab is just past Blackrock processing. I got good news and I got bad news on that front. Good news is, it's right down the hall. Bad news is, a hiss monster has decided to move in, so that's great.
Monster.
That's what the Rangers said. The ones that survived, anyway. We are just treading water here, and the hiss keep coming. Salvador would know what to do, but apparently he took a security team into the containment sector just before the lockdown happened, and well, no one's seen him since. But hey, at least we got you.
I feel like this guy is
Fearless leader.
potentially going to be the surprise
They shouldn't
bad
rely on
guy.
me. They don't know me. They don't know how I've failed people.
You've done a good job here, Arish, but you should take your people and get to the base in Executive. You can regroup there.
Oration, not a weird name.
I'll go deal with this monster. I'm getting kind of used to them.
Aye, aye, Faden. And be sure to put a bullet in that thing for me.
Okay, let's see, is there something I missed? Yes. Missed a collectible. And we are in the Atlas Chamber, which feels like it's nothing. For a name like Atlas Chamber, you would think that would mean something. But I guess it doesn't. And we're going down and around to fight our next enemy. What weapons do we have equipped, by the way? Let's see. Pierce with the major damage while aiming ability. So we'll see how that works. Because I could use some kind of sniper rifle, major damage, but slow gun. I guess that would be the trade-off we'll run into. Let's see. Just a dead body. That's weird, because up until this point the hiss really hasn't been killing too many people. And there's nothing over here, just light for no reason. There's no reason to climb up that. So we're following the trail of the
Arish
dead
wasn't
bodies.
kidding about that monster.
I guess they had HRAs on them, so they couldn't be turned by the hiss, so now they're just trying to kill them. I guess they have been trying to kill me this whole time, so shouldn't be super surprised by that. So we have like two scenarios that will happen here. Either we're going to fight a boss and it's going to be super easy, or we're going to get back into that same scenario. Look at that reflection. That is a big RTX reflection you got there. It's nice to see mirrors sort of working in games, but I don't know. I still feel like this game is not
You showed me the HRA when I first
smooth.
got here, and the machine that makes them. Can you help me find a prism?
I feel like what we would have happen here is we will eventually get a couple patches for this game, and it'll run a lot smoother. Interesting. This almost looks like street signs. Alright, so it's telling me come over here and collect this rock.
Shit! They're shattered. Not a single prism left. What the fuck?
Alright, so this is a charge-up gun that fires
Let's hurry up and find Darling's lab.
So that was super easy. Pierce did not cause any trouble at all. Although it would be a little bit weird now because Pierce is particularly slow. Yeah. It's just as an experiment. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. You cannot use Pierce except for when you're fighting a boss. Not with that fire speed. It's such a charge up. But that probably would work fine for most situations because most situations do revolve around there being one strong enemy and maybe a few other strong enemies, weak enemies.
There are areas in the oldest house where, under the right conditions, when the frequencies match,
That door's a 5
other dimensions leak in.
clearance. We don't have 5 clearance.
The quarry is one of the more stable thresholds in the maintenance sector. That's where black rock comes from.
You heard that too, right?
Dimensional matter.
Black rock
It
comes
has the
from
unique property of blocking out a lot of frequencies.
This should get us into the quarry.
It keeps things stable, contained. Think of it as paranatural lead. Our research involves many dangerous things we absolutely need to keep in check. That's what the Black Rock Line fire breaks are about. The panopticon container cells.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but I need the code for the quarry elevator.
Oh, Emily. The codes. Black Rock 665. Neighbor of the Beast. Get it? We can do that again.
So Emily was the one that talked to him off screen there. Okay. So which way did we come? Did we come from this area or this area? Notice how when you just walk in here, there's clearly a bubble on the ray tracing. So here's ray tracing not working, and then take an inch forward, and then turn around, and then ray tracing is working. So clearly, like, there needs to be some more polish there, some smoothing, some blurring happening. The replacement of reflection textures and reflection maps, so it doesn't just have pop in. The last thing we need with ray tracing is to introduce a whole new generation of texture pop in, which this game also suffers from somewhat. It's just a barrel, nothing else there. There's a lot of bright lights blinding me. So we're going to the Black Rock Quarry, and I don't think we're going to get to any of the blacked out section on the left in this transition. I think what we'll do is we'll probably end up either going to another floor after that, or we'll just have to wander around. I don't think we've seen a security clearance above 5. It would be a little weird if there is a security clearance above 5. So we're also in this position where I think we have all of the weapons we're ever going to get in the game, and I think we have all of the skills except for one object to power skill. Let's see, do we have anything new here that's of value? Spin rate boost, rate of fire 10% versus, what else did we have? Rate of fire 15%, so we can get rid of that. Rate of fire 23%, right now I'm doing rate of fire 16%. No, I'm not. I'm doing rate of fire 10%. Yeah, 16%. So there's a spin rate of fire booster, and then there is a regular gun rate of fire booster. We have launch efficiency, cost of -10% versus -14%, so we can get rid of that. We have a C speed of 56% versus a C speed of 38%, so we can get rid of that. And we have a health plus 29% versus a rare. So the only difference here is it's a rare 3 for 29% versus an uncommon. So I guess we could get rid of that, but it's not really going to do anything. We're still collecting these materials that play really no real part in the game. There's no reason for them to exist at all. Like, it would have been better and more logical if the gun just upgraded based on experience and experience alone, and you just had to kill a certain number of people, or you just finished some of these submissions, and then that would just upgrade your gun, and that would be all you have to do. Then the mods, the materials, all these loot box microtransaction elements that, thank goodness, they didn't actually implement. But I was even a little surprised this game had DLC that it came with in the form of a skin. So like, I'm glad they didn't implement any of that, but I'm also still a little upset that they designed around that concept, because it does not work. This research major targets are not going to be done. If we set this one, this would be go back to the pump station. Yeah, I couldn't justify going back to the pump station. I don't even know where the pump station would be. Maybe it's in a different area that we haven't seen yet. So yeah, this mission's gonna finish. This is the mission we're gonna stick with. And collectibles galore. We have his distorted, which is what I think we just killed real easily. And that might really be the only thing. We might be down to the point where there's only going to be 4 or 5 things we pick up. No, I don't think so, though. There's still a lot of collectibles laying around. It says the Atlas is a physical expression created by the oldest house. The purpose and function are currently unknown, so they don't even know what the Atlas is, and yet it exists. And the black rocks feel like they should be coming quarried out of the pit, but we haven't been told to go to the pit, even though we found it. I feel like we probably could get the rubber duck eventually. Now if we went back to where it was, but I don't remember where it is actually. Pause now if you want to read this. So much text. And what are you really going to get from something like this, where this was one of the first bits of text we picked up? It's all blocked out, and so it's giving you very little information, and it's probably never going to be decensored so that you could read the whole thing. That might be interesting if the game eventually gives you more clearance, and then you can just magically read things off the paper, and then you have an interesting twist where all of their pieces of information and correspondences are magical in themselves. We're finding more audio connections, audio tapes and things. I wonder if we find any more Threshold Kids videos. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. And then Hotline videos. I think like we'll get maybe one. No, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 3 more Hotline videos in the game. It all kind of just depends on how much more game there actually is, and it could be a lot. There could be very little. There probably is a lot. It would be a struggle to say that we were even 3/4 of the way through with the game, because we know there's a whole floor that we don't see, and I don't think they would tease a floor and then not have us at least get on it. Maybe the floor will turn out to be very much an open area where there's just a big boss fight for the most part, but I don't really believe that. And even if we don't look at one of the floors, the 2 other floors we've looked at have had big sections that are blocked off, so it feels like we're gonna have to run around and defeat bosses. They'll probably tell us that there's 4 locations on each. There's a location on each floor that the hiss is encouraging from, if that's a word. It probably isn't. And then we'll have to go fight the hiss 4 different times, which that could be very repetitive. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.